Hey, Marty here. Welcome to the Sublime to the Ridiculous video blog edition. You're always welcome in me Grandpa Joe's house, me Grandpa and Grandpa Cosgriff. You're always welcome there. And they would always do what they could to make you feel welcome. You know, the pot was always on, right? But it was interesting that we'd come down to visit with the kids, and me Grandma Cosgriff would always, now there's coffee on the stove there, and maybe we can make you some tea, and there's cookies in the cookie jar, and we've got some cake, and we've got this candy, and Grandpa Joe always go, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Now, don't sell it to them. Don't sell it to them. They know what's there, and they know that they're welcome to it, so don't sell it to them. And Grandma would just stand there and go, but there were times we were down there, and for whatever reason, Grandma wasn't right there. Maybe she was sitting in the living room watching TV or whatever, and we'd come into the kitchen and sit there with Grandpa Joe, and he'd go, now, there's coffee on the stove there, and there's some cookies over there in the cookie jar, and we got some cake up there, and there's where the silverware is. And then it's like he'd catch himself, and he'd go, but I'm not selling it to you. I am not selling it to you. I'm just telling you where it is. So, okay, Joe, whatever, that's fine, you know. But I appreciated the hospitality. On a bit of a related note, like I said, we lived down the block, so we'd come visit frequently when the kids were small. And my son Frank was 3 or 4 years old, and Joe said, Frank speaks sign language. And what he meant by that was we'd be sitting in the kitchen, and Frank would be playing with some of the kids' toys that my Aunt Carol kept around there. And he'd come toddling in the kitchen, and he'd walk behind Grandpa Joe's chair, and he'd go over to the shelf where the cookie jar was, and he'd just stand there and look up at Joe. Didn't say anything, nothing, just stood there and looked up at Joe. After a few minutes, Grandpa Joe, his great-grandpa Joe, but my Grandpa Joe would turn and kind of look down at him like that, out of the bottom of his eyes. And Frank would raise up one finger, get it in the shot, Marty, raise up one finger and point at the cookie jar. And when Frank would point at the cookie jar, Joe would go, just a little quick nod of the head. And then Frank would take the lid off the cookie jar and grab himself a cookie and put the lid back on and go about his little toddler business. And I always got a kick out of it, and I think Joe got a kick out of it too. Frank speaks sign language. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, share if you really want to. I'd really appreciate it. In the meantime, this is Marty going from the sublime to the ridiculous. And I'm not selling you nothing, okay?